Anthropologists are professional outsiders because anthropologists look at their own society just as odd as any other society. Many young people I talk to, both from the mainland, but also some from Hong Kong, are really worried about how they're getting older. I'm 24 years old, what am I going to do? And I tell them, you have no idea what you're going to be doing. Take your time, because I had no idea that I would be a professor of anthropology in Hong Kong. That would be completely amazing to me if you told me when I was 25 years old that this would be what I would be doing now. I didn't take any undergraduate anthropology courses. Instead, when I was 25, I wound up in Japan teaching English, and then I wondered what I should do with this knowledge. And I learned Japanese and was there for close to a decade. Then I realized that I didn't want to be teaching English all my life, so what am I going to do? So I went back to school in my 30s and got a PhD in anthropology because that's how I could use my knowledge of Japan, because I didn't want to live in the US. I really didn't want to be in the US. I wouldn't say that I was desperate, but it was more a matter of a lot of my friends were going into, finance or going into work for this company or that company, and it just seemed really uninteresting. That's not what I wanted to do. And what would be interesting? Just going to some place I'd never been to before. And I must say, I've been very lucky to get into anthropology, because anthropology is a discipline for people who don't quite fit in their own society in some way, because you see the world outside and you study humans in general in this way. I'll never forget first winding up in Japan, and I was 25, and I was teaching all these classes of little Japanese kids. And I didn't speak any Japanese, or very little Japanese. And so what an adventure. Here I am. How the hell do I teach these kids? They're all 6 and 7 years old. What am I supposed to do in here? It was a lot of fun, Clock, television, happy, sad, that's how you have to do it. Very interesting. And that was my life then. And it was strange to go from an Ivy League university in the US to being in this classroom with little kids in Japan. It was a big adventure in life, and I'm really happy I did it. I always felt alienated from American society, but once I'm in Japan, gaijin-da. I mean, you're a foreigner. And of course you are, and it seemed a more natural situation to be in somehow. Anthropologists are professional outsiders because anthropologists look at their own society just as odd as any other society. I now teach a class called Humans and Culture, and one piece we read is by an American who wrote this wonderful article about the Nasarima, who are this exotic tribe who have this mouth worship. They go into this special room every night and they carefully do this thing to their teeth. Well, of course, the Nasarima are American backwards. Students don't know that. And so who are these people? Who are these people? They are you. Now, not Hong Kongers, but we all in the modern world brush our teeth. That would seem really weird from an outside perspective. Now, I know for health you need to brush your teeth. I'm not saying don't brush your teeth, but I'm only saying that this is a strange ritual that is not natural. Or going to a doctor, that's not natural, and so on. So that's a way of getting students to think anthropologically, that no society is completely natural. Everything is culturally constructed. And it's important to see that. That's part of critical thinking. That's what you have to do. Well, last week I investigated renting a place here for when I retire. I went home and Yoko wasn't too happy about that, so I think we'll probably live in a more ordinary apartment, and that's true. But I really like this place. Just to give you an example, I was downtown in late 2019 when the protests caused all the MTR and all that to stop. So I needed to spend the night here. And I came to this place at 11. And damn, they made me a great dinner and then I didn't have to pay for it. And I felt, that's really sweet of them. That's really nice. This place feels like home, really. anthropologist consists of trying to understand the entire range of human life in its social aspects. Now, that's extremely broad. So some anthropologists look at overall human cultural evolution from when we're hunter-gatherers up to, the future. But also there's the particular way anthropologists study, which is to talk to individuals, often quite different from yourself, who are completely opposite in their views, to try to understand what they're thinking. And I always try to encourage my student not to study only people they like, but people very, very different from themselves. Now, it's also possible to do, to study something that you like. That's perfectly fine too. Whether it's a lesbian commune or organic farmers, stuff like that, fine. But also study stuff that's very, very different from you, because you can learn so much from it. Chungking mansions, those people are extremely different from me, the Indian merchants there and the African traders, but what's going on in their lives? What are they thinking? And that's wonderful to do. Now, how does anthropology help understand the world as a whole? It certainly makes me curious in an ongoing way. I always was curious, but it makes me even more curious. I'm going to die before too many more decades, or maybe even too many more years, we never know. But I hope that wherever I wind up, I'll still be able to have an internet connection to read the news, because life is really exciting. What's going on? The good and the bad are all really, really, really exciting. The favorite time of my day is reading newspapers. What's happening in the world online, and looking up all kinds of different websites. This is so much fun to do. So it just makes me endlessly curious, and anthropology has enabled me to write about all kinds of different things.